you actually pointed out the Sam Cosmi conversation, and so happens that Ron Rivera spoke on Cosmi's progression. I want to say it was either yesterday or today, but the quote goes as follows: he's coming along very well, very nicely. The thing, or the nice thing for him, is who he's practicing against. He's practicing against Montez, obviously Chase Young. He's practicing against all of our front line, and he's holding his own. That's very encouraging, especially now that we have pads on. There were some things that he did that were very good. There were some things that he got to work on. He got to understand. A guy like him, with what he's done to date, has been very encouraging for us as far as his opportunity to play for us right away. Now, as I'm reading this out loud, it's very vague, and he's repeated himself a few times. So I don't know what he truly means when he's talking about Sam Cosmi, like what his true opinion of Cosmi is. I'll take him for his word. It just seems like he repeated himself a few times in this statement. But again, as people know, I was out of town, man, and I am admitting that I am relying more so on others versus I am on myself. I have a lot of reading and catching up to do. But with that being said, Dre, there was a conversation that was had on social media about Sam Cosmi. So I want to ask you, like, were people really worried about that man after just a few days of his time at training camp?
Well, I mean, this fan base, every training camp practice tweet gets blown out of proportion. I mean, you can have Heineke throwing an interception one play, and everybody, who the Heineke have right now? And then you have Heineke throw a touchdown the next play. So I told you he should be replacing Fitzpatrick. So, I mean, it's going to be a roller coaster with this fan base because they live and die off of every tweet when it comes to these. Like, for me, I dialed it back a lot. Like, in the older days, I was a little bit more on edge when it came to these tweets and stuff. And now I'm at the point where it's like, look, all I really want to see is where guys are lining up, where guys are, who's getting the most reps, who's consistently displaying something over a course of days. Yep. And the individual stuff is just too much to get into. But regarding Sam Cosmi, I saw quite a few discussions on him this past week. Well, it's just a lot of the fans are, maybe expressing some concern, like, oh, well, I hear he's not looking too good. Well, I mean, look who he's going against. He's going against Chase Young, Montez Sweat, and the rest of the defensive linemen who would give any damn offensive lineman fits in this league. I mean, this is all over. So this is actually, Sam Cosmi is privileged right now for who he gets to go up against, because he's not going to go up against players of the Chase Young and Montez and Sweat caliber on a weekly basis. I mean, we talking about some of the best in the league right here. So this is for him. Any defensive end he's going to face going forward in games, he's already seen them. He's already seen them in practice. So this work he's getting is good. So, you have to have patience, especially with a younger offensive lineman. I don't even think when they drafted Sam Cosmi that they had in mind that he was the automatic starter at right or left tackle, wherever they wanted to play him. I believe they thought he's going to be a cornerstone piece on, one of the ends of that line, for going forward in the future. But when they drafted him, I really don't think they had in mind, like, this is our automatic answer at right tackle. And that's why you still have guys like Cornelius Lucas around, and you have Charles Leno that we just signed, because you don't have to force him out there. And the only reason Sam Cosmi was even getting thrown into the wolves as much as he was in practice is because Cornelius Lucas was on the COVID list. Yes, so he's backing down, and they're going to rotate more. Yeah, so now, he'll be able to settle in and ease in, but that's good, the work he's getting, and I appreciate that. But like I said, fans need to have patience. We have to remember Morgan Moses. He was not ready at all to play in his first year, and he turned out to be quite a solid tackle for the rest of his career here. He even, got a contract somewhere else where he's slated to start. So just have patience with Sam Cosmi. Just give him some time and let him settle in. That's for me.
I think another thing that people kind of forget, and it's kind of crazy because people, like the actual reporters, they actually start to say it nowadays too. It's hard to goddamn evaluate the offensive line, like to understand everything that they're doing right and doing wrong, because everything is not visible to the naked eye. Like you don't know the technical parts of being an offensive lineman. Sometimes you can see like the struggles in the one-on-ones and things like that, and that can help form your opinion. But when it comes to blocking assignments and stuff like that, schemes, and when you're doing the live drills with a full 5 in terms of your offensive line versus a full front 7 or front 4, we don't know anything. Like, we don't know everything. Excuse me, not anything. We don't know everything. And for Cosmi, I don't know exactly. Again, like I said, I have some reading to do. But I do trust my boy Dre. And for people to do have those issues with Cosmi this early on, or concerns about Cosmi this early on, it's not issues, but have these concerns about Cosmi early on, I think it stems from the fact that over the summer, I would just say, literally at the point of Morgan Moses being let go, he was plugged in as the new starter. So when you have those expectations of somebody because of the fact that they're anticipating him to be this type of dog that we just didn't see coming, then it's like, all right, now I'm a little nervous because they're not saying he's lighting camp up. Well, goddamn, bro, it's like 5 practices.
Right.
It's 5 practices. Like, he ain't. I mean, everybody not gonna come in like gangbusters, bro. Everybody not gonna come in like Chase Young, and the initial impressions are, oh, this motherfucker, he's good. Like, everybody's not gonna look like that. So it's a multitude of things when it comes to the fan base, and when it comes to certain positions that you just have to have that time. And I agree with you in that aspect, Dre. It's not like Cosmi is a little bit too early. Like, and Leno's out. And I think, matter of fact, hold on, wait. Did you say both Leno and Lucas was out?
No, Leno's there. Lucas was out on the COVID list, but he's actually just returned back this week. Yeah, he's returned now.
Okay, yeah. So you had one that was out, which is obviously that was good for Cosmi to get that experience, but you just got to give him some time. And they just started hitting today too. He could be a little bit more physical. That's something that out of Texas, that's what he relied upon, being physical. He can be a little bit more physical now. I'm sure they'll have rest to help them clean things up. So he'll know what to do and what not to do further and further in terms of game situations and stuff like that, and help his positioning and things like that. His hand placement is more specifically. So he'll have ideas of how to get better. But now that there's pads on, he doesn't have to worry about losing reps. Because also another thing, in one-on-ones, especially when there's no pads on, guess who's designed to win that one? Just like the one-on-ones of receivers and DBs, the offense is designed to win the receiver drills versus the DBs, but the defense is designed to win the defensive linemen versus offensive linemen in those drills. So it's new, man. Give them some time.